Ragaa Garaudy, later Ragaa Garaudy, French, July 17, 1913 – June 13, 2012, was a French philosopher, French resistance fighter and a prominent communist author. He converted to Islam in 1982. His books and ideas have been deemed Holocaust denial. Biography. Ragaa Garaudy was born in Marseille. During World War II, Garaudy joined the French resistance, for which he was imprisoned in Jaffa, Algeria, as a prisoner of war of Vichy France. Garaudy converted to Islam in 1982 after marrying a Palestinian woman, later writing that the Christ of Paul is not the Jesus of the Bible, and also forming other critical scholarly conclusions regarding the Old and New Testaments. As a Muslim, he adopted the name Ragaa and became a prominent Islamic commentator and supporter of the Palestinian cause. Political and academic career. Following the war, Garaudy joined the French Communist Party. As a political candidate, he succeeded in being elected to the National Assembly and eventually rose to the position of deputy speaker, and later senator. Garaudy lectured in the Faculty of Arts Department of the University of Clermont-Ferrand from 1962 to 1965. Due to controversies between Garaudy and Michel Foucault, Garaudy left. He later taught in Poitiers from 1969 to 1972. Garaudy remained a Christian and eventually reconverted to Catholicism during his political career. He was befriended by one of France's most prominent clerics of the time, the Abbé Pierre, who in later years supported Garaudy, even regarding the latter's most controversial views. In 1970, Garaudy was expelled from the Communist Party following his outspoken criticism of the 1968 Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia. Garaudy wrote more than 50 books, mainly on political philosophy and Marxism. Holocaust denial. In 1996, Garaudy published, with his editor Pierre Guillaume, his most controversial work, Les mythes fondatés de la politique israélienne, literally, The Founding Myths of Israeli Politics, later translated into English as The Founding Myths of Modern Israel. In the book he wrote of the myth of the 6 million Jewish victims. Because of this, French courts banned any further publication and on February 27, 1998 fined him 240,000 French francs. He was sentenced to a suspended jail sentence of several years. Garaudy appealed this decision to the European Court of Human Rights, but his appeal was rejected as inadmissible. At his hearing, Garaudy stated that his book in no way condoned National Socialist methods, and that book was an attack on the mythologizing and use of the Holocaust by Israeli government as policy. He argued that his book dealt with the Israeli government's use of the Holocaust as a justifying dogma for its actions, mainly in Palestine and toward Palestinians. Support from the Islamic world. In the Islamic Republic of Iran, 160 members of the parliament signed a petition in Garaudy's support. Senior Iranian officials invited him to Tehran and received him warmly. Iranian leaders condemned Israel and the West for bringing Garaudy to trial. Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei cited Garaudy for his work in exposing the Zionists' Nazi-like behavior. Iranian President Mohammad Khatami described Garaudy as a thinker and a believer who was brought to trial merely for publishing research which was displeasing to the West. Garaudy has been praised throughout the Islamic world. In June 1999, Jordanian intellectuals named Garaudy the most important international cultural personality of the 20th century. Former Syrian Vice President Abdul Halim Khatam has called Garaudy the greatest contemporary Western philosopher. Libyan leader Muammar al-Gaddafi stated that Garaudy is Europe's greatest philosopher since Plato and Aristotle. Garaudy was a CO winner of the King Faisal International Prize for Services to Islam in 1986. In February 2006, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah described Garaudy as a great French philosopher. Nasrallah went on to praise Garaudy for exposing alleged Jewish Holocaust in Germany and stated that Garaudy proved that this Holocaust is a myth. Nasrallah also criticized France for putting Garaudy on trial. Later activities and death. In later interviews, Garaudy stated that the attacks of September 11, 2001 were organized by the United States government. He also repeated his claim on the Holocaust, stating that it was invented as a myth by Churchill, Eisenhower, and de Gaulle to justify the destruction and occupation of Germany. In December 2006, Garaudy was unable to attend the international conference to review the global vision of the Holocaust due to health reasons. He reportedly sent a videotaped message supporting Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's view that Israel should cease to exist. Ragaa Garaudy died in Paris on June 13, 2012, aged 98. Praise for Garaudy after his death. Following his death in June 2012, Garaudy subsequently received praise from a number of sources, as translated by Memory. Columnist Adam Youssef wrote in the Kuwaiti daily Al Jarida that Garaudy committed no crime. He merely pointed out that the number of Jews who lived in Europe during World War II did not exceed 3.5 million, so where did the 6 million come from, on which Israel bases the myth of the Holocaust? This is a simple scientific question. Proof. The Iranian Fars news agency called him the first denier of the Holocaust myth. The Arab Writers' Union in Syria, of which Garaudy is an honorary member, wrote that he proved that truth and evidence-based credibility and scientific accuracy were possible. Tunisian writer Tawfiq al-Madina claimed in the Syrian daily Al-Thora that Garaudy had exposed the false myths of the Zionists and their false propaganda regarding the Holocaust. Fairs al-Wabasha, a columnist for the Jordanian daily Al-Duster, wrote, "Only rarely do we encounter a prominent Western philosopher and thinker like Ragaa Garaudy, who supports Arab causes and exposes in a rational and scientific manner the shameful claims of the Zionist movement, undermining its colonialist enterprise in the region." Works published in English language. Literature of the Graveyard, Jean-Paul Sartre, François Mauriac, André Malraux, Arthur Kessler, New York, International Publishers, 1948. Science and Faith in Teilhard de Chardin, in collaboration with Claude Quinot, Garnstone Press, 1967. Karl Marx, The Evolution of His Thought, International Publishers, 1967, Greenwood Press, 1967, Lawrence and Wishart, 1967. From Anathema to Dialogue, The Challenge of Marxist-Christian Cooperation, Collins, 1967. From Anathema to Dialogue, A Marxist Challenge to the Christian Churches, Vintage, 1968. A Christian-Communist Dialogue, Exploration for Cooperation between a Marxist and a Christian, in collaboration with Quinton Lohr, S.J., Doubleday, 1968. Marxism in the 20th Century, HarperCollins Distribution Services, 1970, Charles Scribner's Sons, 1970, Collins, 1970. The Crisis in Communism, The Turning Point of Socialism, Grove Press, 1970. The Turning Point of Socialism, HarperCollins Distribution Services, 1970. Socialism's Unanswered Questions, Europe 1968, Sydney, Australian Left Review, 1970. The Whole Truth, Fontana, 1971. The Alternative Future, A Vision of Christian Marxism, Simon and Schuster, 1974. God, Marx, and the Future, Dialogue with Ragaa Garaudy, in collaboration with Russell Bradner Norris, Fortress Press, c. 1974. Karl Marx, Evolution of His Thought, Praeger, 1977, ABC Clio, 1977. The Case of Israel, A Study of Political Zionism, Shurok International, 1983. Mosque, Maroyer de el Islam, The Mosque, Mirror of Islam, Editions du Jaguar, 1985. The Founding Myths of Israeli Politics, published by ARG, 1996. The Mythical Foundations of Israeli Policy, Studies Forum International, 1997.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.